On February 15th, Maysen and Borowski formally signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Phoenix Materials Limited at a ceremony in Ndola on the future site of the Bwana Mkubwa Oil Refinery and Sub-Sahara Gemstone Exchange Industrial Park. The MOU executed with Phoenix Material and Construction Company proposes to develop a multifunctional economic development zone located adjacent to the current Ndola oil refinery site in Zambia. The project will be developed as a joint venture partnership between Maysen and Borowski Claymont joint venture and Phoenix Material and Construction Company. The project will involve development of the new Bwana Mkubwa Oil Refinery, a 1,800-kilometre pipeline responsible for supplying crude oil to the refinery along with supporting infrastructure and industries such as commercial developments, light industry, warehousing, dry port, container depot, skills training and incubation centre, residential development and green space. The SGE project will also include the development of on-site skills training resources and approximately 5,000 residential units for housing. Additionally, the new Bwana Mkubwa pipeline will triple the current national crude oil supply. The development will also include new exporting lines to the Democratic Republic of Congo and Tanzania, enabling efficient regional distribution of refined oil products.
We love this project because it fits very well with our core philosophy, meaning that we're looking for a project that we can invest in that has got a very compounded social and economic effect. One of the great things about this project is that it's got a huge impact on employment. It means that within the construction phase, you're looking at about 13,000 to 18,000 people, depending on the different stages of the project. And then you've got extended 5,000 to 6,000 people that are actually employed through the life of the project, 20 to 30 years down the line. The multiplier effect also in terms of the country, not only from jobs, but the fact that you are bringing in crude oil and refining that crude oil. What you get out of a crude oil is byproducts of crude oil, and those byproducts of crude oil have got a significant impact on the country, because then you can have your own bitumen for roads, you can have your own oil that you can sell, you can have your own products that you can use for making carpets, for making fertilizers, for making tube tires for bicycles, for making fridges, for making CDs, all sorts of products. There's hundreds and hundreds of products that come out of oil and when you refine it. So in essence, what Zambia is doing by allowing such kind of an investment is actually building a whole entire industry around oil and the byproducts of oil. Refined oil or refined products, when you get them through the country, all you get out of it is something that you can put into your car or system to use. You don't get anything else from there. And so it's such an important project because it creates that fundamental aspect of providing jobs and creating a whole entire new industry that allows a multiplier effect within the economy. So this is a very exciting project that the company is very excited to develop. And so we've been sitting down with our investment partners, looking at the project, putting the models together and trying to find the best way to build this project.
The entire project will potentially create 18,000 employment opportunities, with 13,000 jobs created during the construction phase and 5,000 jobs created in the operation phase. It will inject an estimated $600 million into the Zambian economy annually, which will create a multiplier effect. Zambia imports almost all of the byproducts of crude. This leaves the primary industry paying a higher premium than most other countries. Zambia economic challenges have for a long time evolved around infrastructure development. Zambia lacks the critical infrastructure to compete favourably with South Africa and many other southern African countries.
The current refinery doesn't really refine crude oil. What it does, it's got this oil that comes in and is spiked with chemicals. And when it gets to the refinery, all the refinery does, it does a separation process. It doesn't actually refine the product. So as a result, you don't have byproducts coming out of the refinery that you can actually use. So by building a refinery that can actually break down and create byproducts that then can go and be used to develop a country is also very important and is really critical in getting those inputs that can help a country to develop.
Inputs like cheaper fuel, bitumen for roads, fertilisers for the agricultural industry, and liquefied petroleum gas for electricity generation as a substitute for expensive diesel and for use by households. These inputs are critical in helping the country develop. By having a project that can produce such critical inputs, the country will have an opportunity to develop a primary industry in manufacturing, able to take advantage of the local availability of such materials. As an outcome, the cascading effect of such a project can add an additional 3,000 jobs to those already created in secondary industries. Refining crude oils allow countries to take advantage of the byproducts. These byproducts do generate secondary industries and allow for manufacturing of many products such as ammonia, awnings, boats, clotheslines, dashboards, dishwasher parts, eyeglasses, folding doors, ice trays, luggage, plastic wood, soft lenses, umbrellas, balloons, cameras, cold cream, denture adhesive, drinking cups, fan belts, football equipment, insect repellent, mops, prosthetics, tents, upholstery stamines, ballpoint pens, candles, combs, deodorant, dyes, faucet washers, glycerine, life jackets, nylon rope, refrigerators, toilet seats, vaporizers, and many other hundreds of products.
And we, as promoters of this refinery project, are very, very happy that when we look at, first of all, the location of the project, we are locating it almost next to the existing refinery. We are taking advantage of the way leaf that exists between Ndola and Dar Re Salaam. And I think that we want to be able to work with the government, as government is looking for various ways and opportunities of reducing the cost of fuel in this country. Ours is exactly a response to the government's call of trying to create jobs whilst reducing the cost of fuel. In the past, you can see that as long as we rely on other people, other refineries, to import maybe finished products, Zambia has lost in the past 40 years. These unique opportunities that the byproducts would have created, I think that if, for example, the mining sector has created 100,000 jobs, the petrochemical industry, because it cuts across, should be able to create over millions of jobs in this country. Because if you look at its impact on the agriculture sector, if you look at its impact in supplying the mining sector with all this sulfur for the acid production, with all the other inputs that they require, I think that not only are we able to sustain the region, we are able to make various products which can go and support the other secondary sector within the manufacturing sector. If you talk about cooking oil, we've talked about bottles. I think that the list is endless, and we are saying that we are very, very ready, and we are in support, and thanks to government that they have identified private sector as a unique partner. We will create these jobs, we will increase the GDP for this country, we will make companies be competitive so that they can create more profit. When companies create more profit, government, by the way, is a shareholder in every company for as long as the company makes profit. And I think that our input is to make companies make more profit, contribute more in terms of tax to government, and government will use all these income from these taxes to further on create further jobs through the infrastructure development, creation of schools, and then all this will be absorbed again in the industry. And I think this is a perfect fit for us, and thanks to government that they are shown the way to welcome us and support this project.
According to index figures, current oil demand in Zambia has exceeded the current maximum national output. Projected demand is forecast to increase beyond the current capacity of the Indeni refinery, resulting in inflated fuel prices in Zambia. As demand exceeds supply, inevitably prices then go up, making it harder to keep the prices suppressed long. Fuel prices have a significant impact on a nation's ability to develop. The new Bwana Mkubwa Refinery will have a maximum capacity of 5 million tonnes per year, which is only 50% of the forecasted oil consumption. Due to the close proximity of Zambia to the surrounding countries, compared to South Africa, the transportation fees will be lower, and therefore importing petroleum products from Zambia will be more financially viable than imports from South Africa. The total demand for petroleum products in the area is projected to grow to 19.8 million tonnes per year in 2031, demonstrating the need for an increased supply in the area. The Bwana Mkubwa pipeline will be built alongside the existing Tazema pipeline, running from Dar Re Salaam to the new Bwana Mkubwa Refinery over a distance of approximately 1,800 kilometres. The new pipeline will be able to transport pure crude oil at an estimated maximum capacity of 5 million tonnes of crude per annum. Once fully operational, the new oil refinery and pipeline will have the ability to process 5 million tonnes of crude oil per annum. It will have an expansion capacity of up to 5 million tonnes per year, so as to meet increasing future demands. Stage 2 of the development will commence upon completion of the Bwana Mkubwa oil refinery and pipeline. Proposed infrastructure will include 5,000 houses, a dry port and depot, and a commercial precinct, warehousing, incubation centre and light manufacturing. As Zambia is landlocked with no direct access to the sea, international transport of goods is challenging. The proposed dry port will serve as an intermodal terminal that will be connected by road and rail to the Dar Re Salaam seaport in Tanzania. The dry port development will allow Zambia to operate as a hub for transshipment of sea cargo to inland destinations. The port will also stimulate regional trading activities and economic development. A dry port will help to reduce transportation costs and allow Zambia to compete commercially in exporting commodities. Finished products from the Bwana Mkubwa refinery will be easily transported within the country, as well as exported to neighbouring countries across the Southern Africa Development Community and the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa region. The incubation centre aims to increase the human capital within the Copperbelt province by providing the necessary skills training for workers to develop skills in various professions. The centre will be installed with modern equipment so as to keep pace with the technological advancements across the world. This is critical in ensuring that local expertise is developed to reduce the dependency of expensive expertise from outside the country. This development will help to increase the availability of skilled workers in Zambia. The project is now in discussions among the 3 cooperating partners, namely Samsung Engineering South Korea and Maysen and Borowski Claymont joint venture. Samsung has grown to become one of the world's leading companies. Samsung has net sales of $254.6 billion per year and is considered number 2 in the electronics industry. Samsung's net income is approximately $21.2 billion with a brand value of $23.4 billion. Samsung has about 22% of Korean market cap and ranks number 17 as the most innovative company in the world. It has a global network of 445 offices in 66 countries and is considered number 11 in the top 50 companies. Samsung employs over 344,000 employees worldwide. Claymont is a property development and construction group based in Perth, Western Australia, specialising in residential homes, apartments, land subdivision and commercial properties. Claymont have successfully implemented numerous projects in urban and semi-rural areas across Australia. Their current property development and construction portfolio is approximately $260 million. Claymont co-founders have been involved in many joint ventures, including with American and Malaysian companies for the construction of the commercial retail podium and basement car park of the Petronas Twin Towers. Located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the project value was approximately $250 million.
Not only are we creating thousands of jobs in the actual refinery, the secondary industry, the Zambian government has an ambitious program of diversifying this economy through creation of clusters, industrial parks in various provincial centers. We feel that the whole agricultural sector has an opportunity to be competitive by the use of all the agricultural chemicals that will come from our refinery, by all the fertilizer, by all the irrigation pipes that will come to support it. Then we have to move on. If you look at the mining sector, for example, they are using a lot of these polythene products, for example, into their leaching. So even when you look at the agricultural sector, when we have these products, all these grain bags now can be manufactured locally in all these provinces so that we are able to sustain the economic development. When Zambia can be very competitive in its agricultural produce, it means that we are able to export this not only around the region, but even beyond Zambia at a more competitive rate. So the petrochemical industry, we are looking at the creation of new universities. These are jobs that have never been there, and they will lead the way into economic diversification. Because when you set up universities for petrochemical industries, when you set up colleges, it will create a new wavelength of enthusiasm. And we see a lot of our youth, our young girls being absorbed. The absorption rate for this petrochemical industry, as it relates to not only the agriculture sector, the mining sector going forward, is so huge. And we have no doubt that at the moment we plan to have this refinery pumping at least by 2016. And when you look at the location of this refinery in Zambia, countries around us are either exploring for crude oil or they are pumping. But by 2016, the refinery capacity in this region will not sustain the demand. But we cannot, for example, grow and yet wear the size 2 size of shoe we were wearing when we are young. In this particular case, Indeni refinery is yet to sustain us. But much more because of the demand. Zambia is consuming over 2.5 million liters per day. We need this new refinery. Not only will it supply these products, but we're even able to supply the commingled products into the Indeni refinery.
We see that this project will be very critical to the overall development of the country. Now, the total cost of the project is approximately $3.7 billion. This is the biggest infrastructure project in Zambia in the last 2 decades. So it's quite huge, and the amount of money, if you're looking at injecting that kind of money into a country, it creates a huge multiplier effect. So it's such an opportunity for us to be able to take this project forward and to actually work on it. And so in July, we're looking at finishing the environmental impact assessment. And then we've got all through the end of August and all through September finishing the bankability report, which will then come to our shareholders, and then we can take it from there. The other important thing, I guess, which I really think is kind of critical to the project, is that the project developers, the Maysen, Borowski, and the partners have agreed that 10% of the project equity will be in Zambia, meaning Zambians can participate in this project and be able to be a part of this project. So it's a great thing by having that Zambian participation in the project is really important. And so we're looking forward to the project, and I think it'll be a very exciting time for the company here in Australia, Maysen, Borowski, and also for a lot of the Zambians.